Hi there and welcome. If you're preparing for CIMA Management Case Study exam, you're in the right place. I know that this exam can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if this is one of the first case study exams you're taking, or if you're coming from the FLP route. But in this video, I'm going to share it with you to break everything down so that you know exactly what to do and what to expect in this exam. We'll start by looking at how the MCS exam works and how it's different from all the other exams that you've taken. Then I'll walk you through the 3 key steps to case study success. Then I'll share a clear 7-week preparation plan that you can follow to stay focused and on track. We'll also look what's expected from you in each week, including how to apply P2, E2, and F2 to your Preseen, and talk about when and how you should start practicing your writing. And finally, if you're not sure where to begin and how much support you need, I'll show you the different packages that we've created to help you prepare, from mock packages to full feedback and even personal coaching sessions. So grab a notebook if you like, get comfortable, and let's get you ready to pass your MCS with confidence. Before we dive into your prep plan, let's take a moment to remind ourselves how the MCS exam differs from the objective test exams, especially if this is your first case study or you've come through the FLP route without sitting traditional CIMA papers. First of all, the MCS isn't about memorizing things. You've expected to apply your knowledge to the real-world scenarios. You need to think like a finance manager in a real business, not just recall textbooks definitions. Secondly, it's a business simulation, not a quiz. You've given a realistic task from internal or external stakeholders, and it's your job to respond professionally and clearly, just like you would in a real finance role. Third, there are no multiple choice questions. Instead, you'll be producing a full written responses, reports, emails, memos. That means structure, clarity, and tone all matter. And finally, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all about reasoning. You need to justify your points using your knowledge and the Preseen material and sound business judgment. The exam is made out of 4 separate sections, each with a time limit, and each one will look like something like what you can see right now on the screen. You'll have the task written on one page with the Preseen material and the reference materials on the top, so you can click a button and they will pop up. And on the next page, you will have a box where you can write your answer. So the bottom line is, this is a simulation of your future role, and success depends on how well you demonstrate applied, integrated, and professional thinking. Now let's talk about what it really takes to succeed in your MCS exam. If you remember nothing else, please remember these 3 key steps. They form the backbone of effective case study preparation. Step 1. Apply knowledge. Don't just memorize. At this level, it's not about showing how much theory you've crammed in. It's about using that theory, especially from E2, P2, and F2, to solve business problems. You've expected to step into a role of a finance manager and respond to complex issues with confidence and with clarity. That means knowing when and why to use a particular model or tool, not just describing it. For example, instead of listing out Porter's 5 forces, you'll need to explain how one of these forces is affecting the company in your Preseen. It's that kind of applied thinking that earns you marks in the case study exam. Step 2. Use the Preseen wisely. The Preseen is a goldmine of insights, if you approach it, of course, in the right way. Too many students just read it through once and they think they are done. But to really get value from it, you need to engage actively, highlight connections, spot inconsistencies, think about how different parts of the business interact with each other. Look at it from the lens of each syllabus area. What would concern a finance manager about this company? Where are the strategic weaknesses? What financial red flags do you notice? The better you know the Preseen, the more natural it will be to integrate it in your answer. And that shows the examiner you understand the business context, not just the theory. Step 3. Practice writing early. Writing is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. The sooner you start, the more confident you'll feel. You don't need to write full mocks from day one, of course not. But start small. Answer one task, reflect on your structure, check how well you've explained your points. Over time, build up to full mocks exams under time pressure. This will help you develop a rhythm and learn how to manage your time across different sections. You will also become more fluent in the kind of writing the exam expects: concise, relevant, and professional. Remember, you don't need to write perfectly, but you need to write clearly and logically. That only comes with regular, structured practice. So those are the 3 essential steps. Apply your knowledge, use the Preseen actively, and practice writing as early as you can. If you commit to doing these steps consistently, you'll put yourself in a really strong position for success in the MCS exam. Let's now dive into the first and arguably the most important step to succeeding in your MCS exam. Apply your knowledge. Don't just revise it. A common trap that students fall into at this level is thinking that they need to relearn the content from E2, P2, and F2. But this isn't just another objective test. You're not being asked to define models or list steps from your memory. This case study exam is all about showing how you can use what you know in a business context to analyze problems, explain implications, and make practical recommendations. So let's just break it down by syllabus area. First, E2, Managing Performance. This syllabus is all about the softer side of the business. But don't let that fool you. E2 is full of examinable content. It's not a supporting paper just like it was in OCS. You'll need to understand things like business models, how companies create value, how they manage people and change, and how organizational structure affects performance. In the MCS, you might be asked to respond to a manager about a potential restructure or explain how employee morale might impact performance. And here's where the E2 knowledge becomes powerful. But again, you don't get marks for quoting theory. You get marks for explaining how the theory applies to the situation in front of you. Then we have P2, Advanced Management Accounting. This is the performance management and decision-making toolkit of the syllabus. You need to be confident using concepts like costing, budgeting, variances, and risk analysis, not just in isolation, but in context. In the exam, you might be asked whether to invest in a new project, respond to overspending, or justify a particular budget approach. This is where you apply your P2 knowledge to support or challenge decisions. Again, focus on what matters to a finance manager. How does this affect performance? What's the impact on risk? What's the financial implication? That's how you turn theory into marks. And finally, F2, Advanced Financial Reporting. This part can feel quite technical, yeah, I give you that, especially when it comes to group accounts, ratios, or accounting standards. But don't be put off. You're not expected to calculate consolidations in the exam, but you are expected to understand how group structure or accounting treatments affect financial performance. You might be asked to comment on a set of financial results or explain what a certain accounting treatment means for stakeholders. So instead of thinking about debits or credits, ask yourself, how does this affect what the board or shareholders care about? Is this information reliable, relevant, and transparent? What ties all of this together is application. Every point you make in your answer should link back to the business scenario, the stakeholders involved, and your role as a finance manager. You're not a student listing theory. You are a professional giving advice. So instead of revising passively, practice using knowledge to solve problems. Try explaining concepts in your own words. Challenge yourselves to answer, what does this matter in this case? What could I recommend if I were actually working there? And remember, application gets marked. Memorization does not. Now that we've covered how to apply technical knowledge, let's talk about step number 2, using the Preseen document effectively. For many of you, this is the first case study exam, so let's start with a key point. What is the difference between the Preseen and unseen information? So the Preseen information is basically this Preseen document that CIMA releases around 7 weeks before the exam, twice a year, and is valid for 2 sessions. It gives you the details about the company, about its market, its financials, and its risks. That means you have to study it in advance and come to the exam prepared with insights. The unseen information is what you receive on the day of the exam. This is where the scenario develops. You might get a request from the manager, a financial issue may arise, or a competitor could enter the market. Many students skim through the Preseen once and forget about it, and that is a big mistake. Instead, you should study it in detail and think about what are the company's strengths and weaknesses? What does the company do well? Where could there be financial, operational, or competitive risks? What are the company's key products and markets? Who are its customers? Is it focused on a niche, or does it have a very broad market? What industry challenges could impact the company? Is the company exposed to regulatory risks, economic downturns, or supply chain problems? Are there any recent trends in the sector that the examiners might bring up? By asking these questions, as you study the Preseen, you'll start to see patterns and predict what kind of issues may come up in the exam. A big advantage of using the Preseen well is that you can anticipate the type of tasks you'll be asked in the exam. For example, if the Preseen mentions that the company has big debt levels, you might be asked to evaluate how to improve cash flow or restructure financing. If the Preseen highlights a reliance on one key supplier, a question could ask you to assess a risk of supply chain disruption. If a company is expanding internationally, you might need to analyze financial risks, such as foreign exchange exposure. Instead of waiting until the exam day to figure things out, you should already be thinking about these possible scenarios in advance. One way to impress examiners is by linking your answers to real-world business trends. Why does this matter? Because examiners, they want to see that you understand the wider business environment, not just the case study. Companies don't operate in isolation. They have competition, there is technology and regulations, all impact decision-making. For example, if your case study company is a retailer, mentioning trends like e-commerce growth, changing consumer behavior, or sustainability concerns shows that you have commercial awareness. How do you find this information? Read the industry section of the Preseen carefully. Think about the current trends in the sector. Consider what challenges similar real-world companies are facing. The Preseen is your advantage, so use it wisely. Think ahead. Predict what examiner questions could be based on the company situation. The better you understand the Preseen, the easier it will be to respond quickly and effectively in the exam. Now, let's move on to step 3, writing answers that get marks. Many students lose marks not because they don't know the content, but because they don't structure the answers correctly. This slide shows you a clear example of how structure affects your score. On the left side, in red, you have an answer that failed. This was taken from the CIMA website. The student mentioned some relevant concepts, but they don't fully address the task requirement. Instead of focusing on what was actually asked, they wrote about something only slightly relevant, which means lost marks. What's the difference? It directly answered the specific question asked. It applied knowledge to the case study instead of just explaining theory. It justified the recommendations with logical reasoning, and it well structured with clear headings and bullet points. This is why structure matters in your exam. If you write a long, unfocused response, you risk losing marks, even if you mention some correct points. So, how to avoid this mistake? Read the requirements carefully. Before you start writing, read the task at least twice. Many students rush into answering without fully understanding what's being asked. For example, if the task says, explain the risks and recommend actions, you must do both. If you only explain the risks, but you don't suggest actions, you won't get full marks. Justify your points. It's not enough to just list recommendations. You must explain why your suggestion makes sense. For example, instead of saying the company should improve its cash flow, a stronger answer would be the company should negotiate longer payment terms with suppliers to improve short-term cash flow, reducing the need for external financing. The second version justifies the recommendation. That is what gets you higher marks. Stick to the role given. Remember, you are writing as a finance officer, not a student. Your tone should be clear, professional, and concise. You can use bullet points, however, headings and a paragraph text is more recommended because it's just easier to read. Remember, examiners are human beings. They like things that are clear and easy to read. So final thoughts on writing for marks. Structure your response properly. Don't just write everything you know. Read the question carefully and answer all parts of it. Justify your points. Don't just list theory. Explain how it applies. Write clearly and professionally. Make it easy for the examiner to follow. If you follow these steps, you'll avoid the mistakes shown in the red column and write answers like those that are shown on the green column, which is what examiners actually want to see. Now, let's move on to why mock exams are the game changer in your preparation. Now let's talk about one of the biggest game changers in your exam preparation, mocks and even more mocks. If you want to improve your performance, nothing is more effective than practicing full mock exams. This slide highlights the key mock taking tips that will help you get the most out of your practice. Start early. Don't wait until the last week. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that students make, is that they are waiting too long to take their first mock. And I can tell you that from the experience, our course is scheduled to have 7 weeks. And we invite students to start submitting their mocks from the week number 3. And it hardly ever happens. Usually we start to receive mocks from the week 5, which is way too late. Why is this a problem? Because mocks reveal your weaknesses. And if you take them too late, you won't have enough time to fix those weaknesses. So best practice is that you attempt your first full mock at least 3-4 weeks before the exam and use mocks to identify gaps in your knowledge and writing skills. Simulate real exam conditions. Taking a mock without timing yourself isn't good enough. You must train under real exam conditions. Stick to the 3-hour time limit. No pausing, no distractions. Write your answers on the computer, just like in the actual exam. And avoid checking notes. Force yourself to recall and apply knowledge. Why is this important? Many students struggle with time management during the exam. If you don't practice writing full answers under pressure, you might run out of time on the exam day. Review your mistakes. Don't just take mocks, analyze them. Taking mocks without reviewing them is a wasted opportunity. After each mock, go through your answers carefully. Compare them against the model answers. Where did you lose marks? Were you too vague? Did you go off topic? Did you miss part of the task? So best practice is that you keep a mistake tracker. Note down common errors so that you can avoid them in the next mock. Look for patterns. Are you consistently weak in a certain area, like budgeting or financial analysis? If you don't learn from your mistakes, you'll keep making them in the real exam. Practice writing, not just thinking. Many students read model answers and think, okay, I understand this, but understanding is not enough. You need to train yourself to write answers from scratch. Think of it like driving a car. Reading about how you drive a car won't make you a good driver. You have to get behind the wheel. Similarly, reading model answers won't make you good at structuring responses. You need to actually write your own answers. And get feedback. Self-marking helps, but expert feedback is invaluable. Marking your own mocks is useful, of course, but it's not enough. You need an objective view from someone who understands what examiners are looking for. Why is mock marking so valuable? A tutor can spot patterns in your mistakes that you might not notice. They'll help you refine your writing style and improve your structure. You'll get clear, personalized feedback on where to improve. And this brings me to an important point, mock marking, and why it's such a crucial part of the exam preparation. By now, you know that mock exams are one of the best ways to prepare. But what if you are making mistakes without realizing it? That's where mock marking comes in. Many students assume they are writing strong answers, but without an expert review, an expert opinion, it's hard to be sure. Tutor marking helps you fine-tune your approach, catch small but costly mistakes, and refine your structure before the exam day. This slide shows why tutor feedback is so useful. What tutor marking adds to your preparation? A tutor can spot mistakes you might overlook, things like missing key parts of tasks, not applying knowledge properly, or structuring answers inefficiently. You'll get insights on how to improve, not just a score, but clear guidance on how to make your answers stronger. It helps you think like an examiner, so you start writing in the style that earns marks. It's a reality check before the exam. Instead of waiting until the result day to realize what went wrong, you'll have time to fix things in advance. We actually created packages that include mock markings already inside. So for example, our advanced package includes already one mock that is marked. Master package includes 3 mocks, and ultimate package includes 5 marking services. Mock marking is not compulsory, but if you want an objective expert review of your answers, it's one of the fastest ways to improve your technique. Now let's talk about one-on-one tutoring, when and why it's worth considering. And of course, if you are not on a budget, the fastest way to improve your case study performance is one-on-one tutoring. While self-study and mocks are really great tools, sometimes you just need this personalized feedback to refine your approach, fix recurring mistakes, and just build your confidence before the exam day. So why is it so effective? First of all, it's tailored feedback. Unlike general study resources, one-on-one sessions focus specifically on your strengths and weaknesses. And it's faster improvement. A tutor can pinpoint issues very quickly, helping you fix mistakes much faster. And it's also human interactions. Think of it like having a personal trainer for your exam preparation. Coaching leads to faster results. And how to access this one-on-one coaching? We have a package called Ultimate Package, which is the highest package that we have. And it includes 3 personal tutoring sessions. Or you can get an extra add-on if you have other packages. One-on-one support isn't necessary for everyone, but if you're struggling with exam technique or just want that extra level of confidence, it can be a great investment in your success. So here are the final thoughts on personal tutoring. It's highly personalized and efficient. It's focusing only on what you need. It helps you master exam technique quickly. And it's great for students who want that extra support beyond self-study. So you've done the hard work. Now it's time to maximize your exam readiness in the final week. At this stage, it's not about learning new content. It's about refining your technique, practicing under exam conditions, and first and foremost, boosting your confidence. This slide highlights the key focus areas to make the most of your final week before the exam. Revise industry trends. Examiners just love when students connect their answer to the real-world business trends. Go beyond the Preseen. Think about what's happening in this industry. How do real companies deal with similar challenges? Are there current events that could impact this business? Do timed mocks. If you haven't already, which I would advise you that you have, but if you haven't, then this is the time to start doing full mocks under real exam conditions. Set a timer, remove distractions, and complete a full 3-hour mock. Why? You'll get used to writing under time pressure. It helps you identify where you're spending too much time. You'll get more confident on the exam day because it will be something that you are used to. Get feedback on at least one mock. If possible, get at least one of your mocks marked by a tutor. This is your chance to catch any last-minute mistakes and refine your technique. If mock marking isn't really an option, then try to compare your answers to model solutions or ask your maybe study buddy to review your mocks and give feedback. Look for patterns in your mistakes. Are you losing marks for structure, application, or maybe you are just missing some points? And review ethics. And remember, ethics appears almost on every exam, so please don't overlook it. Refresh your understanding of the CIMA Code of Ethics, which is integrity, objectivity, professional competence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. Many students assume that ethics is easy and they just don't need to prepare for it, but there's just an opportunity for easy marks if you are ready for it. So to sum it up, focus on strategy, not just on knowledge. Simulate real exam conditions to reduce stress, and the final round of feedback can make a big difference. By following these steps, you'll walk into the exam feeling ready and confident. Let's go through our 7-week preparation plan. This structure is designed to guide you step by step so you can gradually build confidence, skills, and exam readiness without feeling overwhelmed. Week 1 and 2 are all about building your foundation. You'll start by understanding the case study format and familiarizing yourself with your role as a finance manager. Then you'll begin dissecting the Preseen document, not just reading it, but breaking it down section by section to understand the company's structure, strategy, and pain points. At the same time, we encourage you to take a deep dive into the industry the company operates in. And to support you with that, we've prepared a separate video that focuses solely on industry analysis. It's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended. Because how can you give a strong, realistic business recommendations if you don't understand the environment the business operates in, huh? By the end of these 2 weeks, you should have a clear, well-rounded understanding of both the business and the world around it. In week 3, we move into syllabus-based analysis, starting with P2. You'll focus on performance management, looking at cost planning, budgeting, cost systems, and risk management. Try to link these concepts to specific areas in the Preseen. For example, think about that cost behaviors or risks the business might be exposed to and how a finance manager should respond. Week 4 shifts the focus to E2. This is where you explore organizational behavior, leadership, people management, and change. You'll consider how strategy affects people and how people, in turn, affect strategy. Don't just think about internal teams. Consider customers, external stakeholders, and how leadership choices impact overall business performance. Then comes week 5, where you tackle F2. The aim here is to bring financial reporting knowledge, such as group accounts, cash flow statements, and accounting standards. When writing your answers, always try to interpret what the numbers mean. Focus on insights, not just the calculations. Week 6 is when all becomes very real. It's mock exam week. You'll complete full mocks under timed, exam-like conditions and submit them for feedback where possible. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. The more you practice now, the more confident and exposed you'll feel in the real exam. Of course, we are not saying that you should do mock exams only in week 6. You should actually start writing your mocks starting from week 3. However, I can see based on the experience that students usually tend to start attempting mocks towards the end of the time, meaning in week 6. And finally, week 7 is your final revision and confidence boost. You'll revisit key topics, review ethics, polish up your writing technique, and go through examiners' feedback and final exam tips. This week is all about consolidating your knowledge and walking into the exam feeling ready, not rushed. If you stick to this plan, week by week, you'll not only cover all the critical areas, you'll give yourself space to think, reflect, and grow into the finance manager role. Take it one step at a time, trust the process, and keep moving forward. You've got this. By now, you've probably figured out that we provide specialized preparation courses for CIMA Management Case Study. These are led by experienced tutors who focus exclusively on case study exams, so you're in safe hands. I know that preparing for MCS can feel overwhelming. There's a lot to cover, a lot to write, and it's hard to know where to start. But here's the good news. You don't have to do it alone. We've developed a range of tailored packages designed to guide you step by step, so whether you're starting early or playing catch-up, there's an option that fits your needs. Let's start with the Essential package. This is perfect if you're looking for a strong, affordable foundation. You'll get our Preseen analysis set, theory revision materials, and 3 full mock exams along with 15 writing tasks to practice specific skills. It's a great option if you want to go at your own pace and start building your confidence without too much pressure. Next up is the Advanced package, which adds up an extra layer of support. You'll get everything from the Essential package, plus 2 extra mocks, so you have 5 in total, and 1 mock marking service by our tutors. And also from this level onward, we also include our Key Issues video, which pinpoints the most likely topics and issues and concerns that could come up based on the Preseen. This helps you narrow your focus and feel confident that you're working on what really matters, not trying to revise everything just in case. Then we have the Master package, which is our most popular option. It includes everything from the previously mentioned packages and goes even further. You'll get 6 mocks in total, you'll get marking for 3 of them, and access to our exclusive past exam question repository. This is a treasure trove of real questions from previous sittings, categorized by topic and syllabus area. Why is it so useful? Because case study exams often repeat themes. Seeing how questions have been framed and tested before helps you understand examiner patterns and spot opportunities to pre-prepare your thinking. And finally, we have the Ultimate package. You'll get absolutely everything from the Master package, plus an extra mock. You'll get 7 mocks to practice in total, and 5 mock marking services, and 3 personal one-to-one sessions with our tutor. Those sessions are basically being done via Zoom. These sessions are your chance to get tailored feedback, ask specific questions, and build confidence with expert guidance. It's the ideal choice if you want that personal support, or maybe if this is your repeat sitting and you want to give it your all. So no matter your budget, timeline, or confidence level, we've got you covered. All of our MCS packages follow a clear, structured path that matches the actual exam style, and everything is designed to take the pressure off and guide you to success. If you are ready to get started, just head to practicetestacademy.com/MCS and let's get your exam prep on track. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope this gave you clarity, structure, and the confidence to move forward with your MCS preparation. Remember, this exam isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You don't have to know everything, you just need to apply what you do know in a structured, professional way. And we're here to help you build those skills step by step. Whichever package you choose, know that you are not doing this alone. We've got expert tutors, proven materials, and a clear plan to follow. So trust the process, stay consistent, and believe in your ability to pass. You've got this, and we are here with you all the way. Now, let's take the next step. Let's get you MCS ready. Thank you for watching and good luck!